Thank you, Major. Appreciate you very much. Tonight we have District 7 with our invocation and the pledge.
I'd like to call Pastor Steve Taboo to the front, please, to give us our invocation.
Let us pray. God, thank you so much for these men and women that give of their family time, of their spare time to come and serve our community. Lord, I pray you bless their lives right now, Lord. I pray you bless their families. I pray, Lord, that you would just bless their businesses and the time they sacrifice to serve their community. Lord, I pray that you love on them so well that they would just want to just give that love back to you and just walk with you day by day. Lord, you say if we lack wisdom to ask for it. As mankind, God, we all lack wisdom. We can't see the future, Lord. We can only see what's before us. But, Lord, you can see all things. And so, Lord, I just come before you and humbly ask that you would grant wisdom to our team, to our members here, Lord. Just give them wisdom for our community. And Lord, I pray you protect them from the evil one, Lord. Satan wants to destroy this community, wants to destroy lives, wants to destroy families. But, Lord, you have come that we might have life and life abundantly. And so I pray that you'd bless this team right now with the abundant life for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm going to stand tonight, Commissioners. We have two screens, and I cannot see you over there.
Sorry about that.
That's you're fine. You're fine. I just want to see our beautiful people, so I'm going to stand if that's okay. Mr. Clerk, you want to call the roll, please?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, would you please take your handsets? Everybody press yes and stop right there for me, please. Press yes and stop right there. All right, now everybody please press confirm for me, please. Everybody pressing confirm. All right. I think we're doing some work in here today with this, and I'm not sure where we're at with this. So we only have actually three things on the agenda that we'll actually have to vote on. We'll vote by this, and I'll take it the hard way. And I'll redo this. Mr. Chairman, you have all 24 present. There is a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Item number 5, approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion or additions to the agenda? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
You oppose? The agenda has been approved. Item number 6, approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the previous meeting's minutes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have been approved. Item number 7, unfinished business and action thereon by the board. A, report of standing committees.
No unfinished business.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
under number 7, my button stopped working on the thing. I got unfinished business. I just wanted to ask, we went in with the city, I can't remember if it was this commission or the last one, where we were making a transfer down at Canyon Creek, where all the brush is, and I haven't seen anything going on down there. I was wondering where we're at on that.
We just put out the bids for the building, and we're working with the low bid on options and everything. We're actually meeting this Wednesday to try to finalize that.
Good deal, thank you, Randy.
Okay. Ms. Reel, Commissioner Reel.
No unfinished business.
Thank you. Number 2, Fiscal Review Committee.
No unfinished business.
Number 3, Nominating Committee.
No unfinished business.
Thank you all. Item B, Report of Special Committees. Hear from Audit Committee. Mr. Duncan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. The audit committee met on February the 27th. There were 4 audit committee members, which is a quorum there. Also in attendance were County Mayor Porter, Steve Reeder, who's the area supervisor, and Anita Scarlett, who is CPA in charge of Putnam County audit. For the second year in a row, the county received an unqualified audit with no findings. Upon questioning, the officials from the comptroller's office indicated that they received excellent cooperation. Said, I've submitted a written report to the county mayor, which a copy should be included with the minutes, and I recommend approval of the audit committee's report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions?
Any questions for Mr. Duncan? All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I can do a voice vote on this, correct? Sure. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Motion passed. Item 7C, any other unfinished business? All right. Item number A, Report of Standing Committees, Planning Committee.
No business at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Reel. Item number 2, Fiscal Review Committee.
Mr. Chair, I've asked the Vice Chair to chair the fiscal review tonight, so we're going to ask Jonathan Williams, if he will.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 2A, recommends approval of budget amendments to the Road Department Fund, and I so move.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Clerk, you care to call the roll, please?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take your handsets. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote, and then stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, you have 24 voting yes, 0 no, 0 absent. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Item B, recommends approval to purchase additional life insurance for full-time law enforcement and emergency personnel, and I so move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, Mr. Clerk. Oh, Mr. Bennett.
County Mayor was supposed to bring us some other options.
Yes. I'm going to ask the same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I checked in and got the pricing as you'd requested to add the road department. We would go from $19,090 as we had for the emergency personnel and law enforcement that we started with, to add the road department, and we also had the 2 sheriff's departments helicopter pilots had not been included on that. We added those in. That went to $25,886. Then you asked me to check. And one thing I want to clarify and make sure that there wasn't a misunderstanding in Fiscal Review Committee, this is not life insurance policies. This is an accidental So this is not taking out life insurance policies on each individual person. It's one big blanket coverage policy, depending on how many employees you cover. The more you can cover, the higher the price goes. So those are the new numbers that I got for the community. Any questions?
Can you repeat those numbers again?
Sure. $19,090 is the one to cover the law enforcement, emergency service, fire, EMS, and those people. $25,886 covers the road department and the helicopter pilots. And then $46,636 covers all of the county employees.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. Actually, my question is for you. Those three prices there, what are the total number of personnel that would be covered under each tier?
Hang on just a second, I think I got that. There's about, I thought I had it with me. It's about 600 total county employees.
So that would be for the 46,000 number?
That would be for the 46,000. And then you're looking at about 250 employees for the 25,000.
The 250, and then how many would that be under just the sheriff's department? Is 100 and something, or would it even be 100?
The sheriff's department has about 120 or so.
Probably about 120 between corrections and corrections.
That would be covered under this, okay. Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
And that 600's a rough number, Jonathan, that's the ballpark, okay?
Okay.
That's covering all the county employees.
Commissioner Joe Wansley.
Mr. Porter, I guess the amount is 250,000, correct?
250,000. And that's an accidental death. Remember, somebody just died. They're like, yeah.
Commissioner Bennett.
Under the sheriff's department, are all the personnel in the office covered, or just people out on the road?
Depends on which one of those prices you went with. If you go with the 19,000 that we originally came up with, no, just as deputies and corrections officers and everybody that is in, not the office personnel.
Okay, so it's people that are actually out there in the front line?
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you go with the total number, the 46, that covers all the employees in the whole county. Office personnel, everything.
Thank you.
Commissioner Atwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Being as this is accidental death, then I guess the opportunity for someone sitting at a desk to die of work-related probably is very low. Having been a employee of LoJack, a road building company, we were people who are at risk of being hit when they're in that process. So, having said all that, I'm in this motion, if I may, to include the road department to the original motion.
Second that.
I have an amendment to the motion and a second. Any discussion on that amendment? Commissioner Christopher.
Thank you. Just so I understand, you're getting ready, thanks, Randy. Just so I understand, what is the baseline insurance policy right now? This is an additional maximum of 250,000, correct?
It is. We have a $15,000 life insurance policy that we carry on every county employee as a base.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your work comp that would pay off if they're, while they're on duty or while they're working. And the work comp is it's an equation that you use. It's all based on how much that person makes. I'll give you an example. So if you're looking at as part of a work comp claim, I can only think of one that we've had, but there may have been others, over the years. But, that would pay out about $259,000 in a work comp claim as part of the work comp. This would be in addition to that, if they were killed in the line of duty. That's the key to this.
And just so I understand, so just thinking of potential scenarios, so this is not automatic, you don't get an extra $250,000 if such were to occur.
That's correct. It has to be in the line of duty, and it has to be somebody has caused that death.
Right, but in addition to what could be awarded at the time of death, there would still have to be some showing to reach
Absolutely.
that full $250,000, just so everybody understands. This doesn't just mean the family automatically gets $200,000.
Insurance policy is to the cause.
And then for the roads department, what does that, just so I understand that there are people within the roads department who are put at risk, but would this cover just everybody within the department? So maybe it's covering some people who aren't on a daily basis?
It's covering all of Randy's employees that work out on the roads. It doesn't cover his
cost
Yes,
would fairly reasonably be at risk in the same way.
yes.
Okay. And so, being hit by a car, would qualify.
Yes.
Suffering some sort of injury from collapse of a vehicle, or, I mean, this sort of opens it up to a lot of things. Consideration, correct?
It does.
Okay.
Commissioner Jordan Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Randy, this could probably be directed to you or to Chief Brown, but do the members of the fire department, do they have a similar policy in place?
For all full-time and part-time employees on the fire department, and then the fire department has a separate policy for the volunteers that's been in place for a while. Policy was put into place several years ago for those folks.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yeah, I just want to clarify my motion. My amendment was to include the helicopter pilots. I think that was part of the second bid, so that we're clear, not just the road department, but also those. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Moss.
Mr. Chairman, I see three supervisor of other departments here. I'd like to hear their take on this. Keith and Ms. Jennifer and Wayne Neighbors. I'd like to get your input on this. What do you think about it? Then I want to make an amendment to the amendment.
I will, so, that'd be great. Any of y'all that want to speak will be fine. Let me recognize the commissioners first, and then I'll turn it over to the department heads / officials. So, anybody else have discussion on the amendment before we turn it over? Okay. Mr. Neighbors, I know you asked me, so I'll let you go ahead first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What is the price of an employee? What is the value of an employee? Mr. Atwood, I take a small exception to what you just said. Obviously, you've not run a county office before. I mentioned this the other night, that you have to understand sometimes that in volatility, and I'll use that word, that sometimes I've not made everybody happy that's come through my doors. A lot of folks, they don't like rules. They don't like to be told what to do. They don't like authority. And it's their way, or they think it's the highway. To deal with at times. I employ single moms who have families, and Lord help us if somebody comes into my office and goes crazy and shoots some of my employees. They have children. How are they going to get by? We got single moms. So now let these others testify to what we see a lot of wonderful people, and we wait on a lot of wonderful people, but we wait on a whole lot of folks that's borderline crazy, and sometimes it's scary. I am in the process, as we speak. We've already got the bid in. I should have done this from day one when we built the office, county clerk's office at the health department, to go solid glass with all of my stations, and now I am going to solid glass. I'm going to solid glass with a little feed for your paperwork and a little hole for you to speak through. I'm going to a number system. I've got to secure it because I see it more and more every day. My employees are very important. Now, I appreciate the Sheriff's Department. I appreciate EMS. And I appreciate their job. They're just wonderful folks. Thank you for them. I appreciate my folks as well. They need the same consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neighbors. Any other department heads or officials like to discuss the motion? Mr. Martin.
What line item is this coming from?
What line item will this,
The budget.
from our self-insurance fund?
Do we have additional $40,000?
We have 19, I'm not sure what we're on 46, but we can come up with it if we need to. But it'll have to be part of the budget when we come forward.
Okay, Commissioner Christopher.
Thank you. So I just want to, this comment is not gonna sit well with everybody, and I appreciate that. But to some extent, we can't pay to insure against all possible ills and scenarios of life. And so there is equal opportunity for everyone to purchase private insurance. In my experience, you can purchase considerable insurance for half the cost of a monthly cell phone bill. So I do think that all employees bear some risk at their job. So Mr. Neighbors, I appreciate your comments. But I do think that we need to draw the line somewhere, looking at the cost differentials.
Commissioner Ford.
I kind of agree with Wayne, and that's like the clerk's office. I've seen Wayne have to put somebody out the door. And a few years ago, I had an upset renter that wasn't real happy with what the judge said, and they came into the clerk's office and attacked me in the hallway. Didn't last long, but everybody goes in there is mad. They're either going to court, coming from court, getting a divorce, and they're mad. I mean, they're paying a fine. There's hardly anybody goes in there probably to get a passport. It's about the only ones that are happy with it. And Wayne's office the same way. This crazy world nowadays, people come in and just shoot you for no reason at all. So, I'm forgiving it to all the county employees.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. Street, I apologize. Welcome to come up now. You have the floor.
I kind of agree with Mr. Christopher. I hadn't given this a whole lot of thought. I have people that are out on the road every day driving. I don't have anybody like Randy. There's a possibility that anybody in this county, with whatever job they had when they're outside of a building, could be at risk. I don't know that my department is as much at risk as maybe the highway department or any of the other departments. I think if this body decided to give that to each and every employee, we'd gladly take it. But that's kind of where I'm at. anybody could get hurt, I guess, on the job. But like I said, I don't have the same thing going on as some of these other departments do, so.
Anyone else? Okay, so we have an amendment and a second. Any other discussion on the amendment? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
No, I just did it. Mr. Porter, any other alternatives? You know, where employees pay for part of it to reduce the cost, so that everybody could I'm just throwing out. Now, I understand what Mr. Christopher said too. You know, each individual has to bear the burden too. I think it's wonderful that they're nice perks, but again, I think if each individual wants it, you know, just as myself, I have to purchase it myself. So I didn't know if there's alternatives to try to make everybody happy, or
We have
what can
payroll,
we do?
I'm sorry, we have payroll deduction that the employees can purchase life insurance off of payroll deduction at any time they want to. I don't know of any way you could ever, I mean, this is a blanket coverage that the county is buying. There'd be no way for the employees to participate in this coverage, but they do have payroll deduction that they can do, life insurance, so we've had that for several years. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Mr. Moss? You're welcome. Any more discussion? Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll on the amendment, please? Restate the motion, from Commissioner Atwood. He amended the motion to include the highway, employees that are on. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's it. That's all the amendment is. The amendment is, what you're voting on right now is the amendment to do nothing. It's to also cover the highway employees and the helicopter pilots. So
And
that's
what's
all.
the price on that?
Pardon me?
25,000?
No. The amendment is to also cover highways employees and helicopter. I don't know what that.
The
what
price
that
is
addition
$25,886.
Yes, pardon me, I did write that down.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend the amendment to where it covers all county employees.
Mr. Parliamentarian, or do we need to vote on the amendment first? I think we need to vote on the amendment first.
No, you can amend the amendment, however,
Okay.
you're the chair. So how you choose to proceed at this point, there's not a parliamentary
So we can do
procedure.
it, I'm gonna allow it. I don't wanna deprive anybody of making an amendment. So the amendment is to include all county employees. You have a motion and an amendment, so I got a motion. You wanna clarify, Mr. Jones? I wanna do what's right, so.
According to Robert's rules, you can amend an amendment, but that's as far as it goes. You can't do it in the third degree.
That's
Thank you,
correct.
Mr. Jones. Thank you, Mr. Parliamentarian. Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I ask one question to Mr. Porter again? Mr. Martin had asked, I think, a relevant question. The line item for the 19,000, the 25, or the 46, is there sufficient funds? Because I didn't hear exactly what you said because you were walking away. You know, would the 19 be covered under the item, the 25?
The 19, we looked at that in the budget, and that wasn't gonna be an issue. Right, we had enough, we thought we'd have left over in that. The 46, or the 25, we'd probably get by on 25, the 46. I'm not saying we can't cover it, I mean, we can
But put
add
the
it in
burden.
the budget, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Porter?
Yes, I'm sorry.
So we'll move money from another fund to the self-insurance fund if we don't have it covered, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
The
we
county
have,
general, our self-insurance fund is taking schools, all the departments pay into the self-insurance fund. We pay a large portion of it out of county general, so it would come out of the county general fund to go into the self-insurance fund to pay for it.
okay, and all county employees under workers' comp would get something, depending on their compensation, if something happened to them at work, is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. That $30,000 employee was gonna get $276,000, I believe. It's an equation based on how much they make. It even gets down to some point of how many children they have and those kind of things. But, there is a cap on work comp. The highest paid employee that there is about $415,000 is the most you could ever pay out on a work comp claim in a death, but.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Porter.
Can I-
Hold on.
Sorry, so I can understand it better. So the workers' comp, they would receive what you just said. This policy is in addition
Yes,
So this is an addition.
yes.
It's additional coverage. Accidental,
Exactly.
additional, it's accidental death, which is additional to the workers' comp coverage they have already.
So a $50,000 employee with workers' comp would just fictitiously.
And the reason I brought this to you, I was trying to do something good, for the, especially the law enforcement's out there carrying a gun and protecting us every day, the paramedics that are out there transporting people, and the firemen that are out there putting their life at risk for fires. I'm not saying that any county employee is not important, they all are. We just saw this opportunity for a small amount of money to cover these high-risk employees, with those emergency service and law enforcement, and that's the reason I brought it to you, and if y'all wanna do it, that's great, and if you don't, it's okay too. We saw an opportunity, and that's the reason I brought it to you.
Commissioner Holmes?
Mr. Chair, this is for Mr. Porter. How many accidental deaths have we had in the last 20 years?
I don't know of any.
I don't either. And if we're gonna do this, Parks and Recreation, aren't they mowing on the side of the road?
No.
No, they don't?
No, they mow the facilities, but they're not out on the road, on the side of the road.
Are they by the cliffs at Burgess Falls?
No, that's a state park.
Okay. You good, Mr. Holmes?
I'm good.
All right, I have a motion, I have an amendment to an amendment on the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second? Any discussion?
Who seconded?
Commissioner Rea.
Kathy.
All right, Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take your handsets and,
Voting on
Mr.
all
Ford's.
employees.
Yes.
all employees, right, on the amendment. All right, everybody got it? We're voting on all the employees. Take your handsets. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. And then stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone press confirm. This is gonna take me a minute. Let's see how this goes. Apologize, it's taking me so long.
You're fine, thank you.
It's just, it won't print tonight, so I'm just having to do the best I can, guys. All right, there is, Mr. Chairman, you have 9 voting yes, 15 voting no, 0 absent. The amendment fails.
Now we have to vote on the motion as amended.
No. You gotta vote for the amendment first. My amendment.
Oh, we do have to go back to yours, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you. So we're back to the original amendment by Commissioner Atwood that included the Highway Department. Any additional discussion on it? Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
All right, this is your amendment to that original. Take your handsets. If you favor that motion, vote yes. If you not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Martin. There you go. Thanks. Mr. Chairman, we have 20 voting yes, 4 voting no, 0 absent. The amendment passes.
Now we're back to the motion, original motion as amended. We just amended the original motion, now we gotta vote on the motion as amended.
Repeat it.
Was was just what I just said, that included the public safety, highway department, and the 2 helicopter pilots. So public safety's sheriff's office, EMS, fire.
I hope everybody, I'm trying to make it as clear as possible, so, right now, it's not legal until we pass the motion with the amendment on the couch, which was what we just did. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So the original motion included full-time law enforcement, emergency personnel, highway department, and the highway department employees on the road, and the helicopter pilots on the ground. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Ladies and gentlemen, take your handsets. If you favor the motion as amended, press yes. If you do not favor that motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote, and please stop right there. Wait, Ms. Adams. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Please wait. Mr. Chairman, you have 21 voting yes, 3 no, 0 absent. Motion is amended. Passes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Williams?
Thank you. Item C recommends approval of a sales tax resolution urging the General Assembly to adopt an equitable distribution of local sales tax revenue from out-of-state sellers and lower the state charges to collect tax. So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second for this pass the resolution to send the General Assembly an equitable sales tax. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. are adjourned.